sitting. So we can start sitting comfortably.
Couldn't hear.
We'll start sitting comfortably, whatever that is for you. Maybe she'll come back in, figure it out, hopefully. Okay, long spine. And we'll just start to go inside, maybe close the eyes. Let them be soft. Whatever feels comfortable to you, relax the belly and start to breathe. And let's imagine that we're breathing in and out of our heart. So maybe just visualize that as you breathe and take in nice long inhale through the heart, relaxing the belly, and exhaling back out, relaxing the shoulders, the hips. We imagine the breath coming in and out through our heart. It increases the toroidal field of the heart and assists with the coherence between the heart and the mind. So this brings a nice balance to our heart and mind. And you can even put your hand on your heart if you want. And just do whatever feels good to you here as you breathe, and just slowing down the breath, elongating it. Allowing the belly to relax. And then we'll take our breath, keep breathing, and take our breath up into our head and finding that point in the middle of the brow, right above the eyes, between the brow, and picture the breath going in and out through the third eye. Through this point between the brow. And we might allow there to be a little bit of a space or a hold between the inhale and the exhale. Just allowing a little pause. Where there is stillness. And then connecting the breath through the third eye, taking that inhale in through the point between the brow, and then finding it coming out through the heart. Just allow your mind to visualize or envision that, and then finding the breath going back in through the heart and up and out through the brow, through the third eye. Just taking a couple breaths. So there's a circular movement connecting the third eye and the heart chakra. While we relax our belly and our shoulders, our jaw. Good. And then go ahead and let your breath continue to be relaxed and full and even. And you can bring your arms out from your shoulders. Just move the spine a little bit by reaching the arms forward and pulling the heart back, and then pulling the arms back and lifting the heart. And just letting your spine do a little wave-like motion, just gently waving forward and back. You might even accentuate the wave and let it take you up and forward and down and back. Letting that spine move. Continuing to breathe. And then next time we bring our spine upright, we can just allow the arms to relax by our side. And we'll come into a caterpillar. So bring the legs out in front of the hips, just extending them forward out from the hips. And make sure your pelvis is upright and it can come forward. Otherwise, sit on a bolster or something if it's not able to come forward, and just start to relax over the legs. And also, there's any problem with the knees, or if your hamstrings or happen to be really tight, you can always put a little pillow underneath the knees or the thighs so that we can totally relax our body forward. That's an option as well. So without forcing in or bringing or trying to bring ourselves into this stretch, we'll just let our torso totally relax over the legs. If you're comfortable letting the spine round, letting the head drop forward, brings a nice stretch into our spine and decompresses the vertebra. You will want to feel like you want to change the focus of the stretch to the back of the legs. Always flatten the back, right? And that will change the focus from stretching the spine to stretching the back of the legs. So just whatever you go back and forth between, whatever feels right for you, depending on what you want to accomplish, so to speak. You can also, if you get to the point where you can reach your feet, you can also bring your hands to the bottoms of your feet. Kind of feel a nice stretch under the shoulder. Pull the toes back towards you. Get that stretch through the Achilles and the foot, lower part of the legs. So also option, stretch shoulders, increasing the stretch in the back. Lots of explorations in caterpillar. It's a simple asana, but a really good one for the whole back side of our body. And this pose particularly stretches the channel of the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder channel is where we hold all of our unprocessed emotions. Works in tandem with the kidney. So in Chinese medicine, the kidney and the urinary bladder are considered primary channels and the foundation of yin and yang body. Very important. So the urinary bladder is the yang half of the equation. Kidneys, the yin half. Also, any time that we're in a forward fold of any type, we're naturally relaxes the body. So it de-stresses and helps the body let go of stress on levels physical or beyond. Yin is not just about the physical level. Get deeper into the connective tissues. We affect all levels of our being. Naturally transfers. Of course, it's our breath that allows the energy, the qi, and the jing and the shen, all of the energies to move through our body and through all the channels. So breath is very important. So we can go ahead and start to press ourselves up slowly, coming out nice and gradually back up to sitting. You might want to lean back a little bit and move the legs, give them a shake, wiggle, a bounce. And then we'll put into either a full shoelace, which would be crossing the right leg over the left and stacking the legs. And if that's doable for you, if not, you can untie your shoelace. Just bring the right leg in front of the left and loosen the legs up to whatever extent you need to. We'll just settle into that pose, whichever works. Remember, yin is all about finding our own asana, right? Finding our own version. So, and it can be different days. And then once we find that, we'll bring our arms out. So the right leg's on top, and we'll take our right arm under the left arm for eagle pose with the arms. And you can just press the right fingers into the base, maybe like under the thumb of the left hand. intertwine our arms here. And just relax the arms. We open up our back between the scapula. Nice stretch through the top outside of our arms as well, and our shoulders. This is a particularly good pose for stretching the small intestine channel, meridian. Runs down the top of the arm, that side of the arm, basically, side of the arm. So anytime you want to come out of the arm part, feel free to, or if you can hold it a little, to stay here a little longer, that's comfortable for your shoulders. If it bothers your shoulders, feel free to come out anytime. If you are in the full shoelace version with the legs stacked, always rest your elbows on top of your leg if you want, and bring a little bit more weight forward over the legs. You can also lift the elbows. You can explore a little bit of movement with the arms. You can bring the hands away from the head, just shifts the stretch a bit. The small intestine meridian, the small intestines, of course, are our filtering organ. It's responsible for filtering out or separating out the pure from the impure, whether that's physical substance or thoughts, thinking level. We can attribute that process to the small intestine. The other half of that is the heart, right? So the small intestine is the yin, and the yang part, and the heart is the yin part of that pair. If you want to unfurl your arms anytime, and just go ahead and lean forward on the legs for a little bit longer. To stretch here, deeper stretch through the lateral hip, outside of our, particularly the right leg. Making sure that our sits bones stay rooted, coming forward. Okay, so we can start to press ourselves up from here, coming slowly out. Making sure we move slowly because the connective tissue takes a little bit of time to come back after a long held pose. So legs out in front, you might shake them, you might windshield wiper them, wiggle them around, just whatever feels good to you, your legs and your hips. And then we'll bring our left leg on top. If you can stack your legs with the left leg on top, great. Or you can untie your shoelace and bring the left leg in front of the right. Just kind of find how far away from you the legs want to be. And we'll bring our arms out and cross the left arm under the right arm. Let the fingers grasp bottom of the left right thumb area there. Relax the arms. And of course, if you want to explore a little different movement or positioning of the arms, you can always bring the elbows farther up, lift them a little bit, or bring the hands farther away. A little shifting or adjusting of the arms is fine. Do what feels right. And of course, anytime you want to come out, you can do that as well. Just stay here as long as feels right for your body. Nice to give it a little bit of time so we can really get into the upper body channels. That stretch through the back and shoulder and the upper arm. And as always, if you don't want to do the pose that we're particular pose that we're doing, if it doesn't feel right for your body wants to do something else, you can always do something else. Maybe something that accomplishes the same basic thing, right? Whether it's a stretch for the hips or the arms. But as long as it's a yin pose, yin type of pose, it will work. The yin, the yin parts of our body are what we are working, right? Or what we're focusing on with yin. So it's the deeper tissues, the bones, joints, the ligaments, tendons. Whereas the yang tissues relate to the muscles and the blood. Different tissues require different poses, different emphasis, different focus. Yin, we want to go all the way down into the bone. Try to feel our bones. Anytime you want to release the arms, feel free. Stay there as long as you want, but you can just come forward, go over the legs, relax a little longer. So our bones are where we hold our story. Story, whatever it is held within the bone. You can literally go into the bone in yin poses and almost feel like we're pulling our bones apart. Stretching the bone, which is not a common thought. Stretching. We can stretch our bones and lengthen them, just like we lengthen the other tissues. By going into our bones, taking our attention and our awareness and our focus there, perhaps we can change our story as well. We can let go of stories that we no longer want to tell or hold on to. Maybe we can tell a new story. Literally can vision our lives, our imagination, and our story. Unfortunate that the imagination, the realm of the imagination that we're born with tends to be squelched or sort of driven out of us by the time we're a young child, fairly young child, taught to deal with the real world. The real world is more important than the imagination. Not so sure that's true. Okay, so let us slowly start to make our way up here. And just sitting, uncross the legs. Do whatever feels good to your legs, hips, knees. Maybe we can bring our hands behind our hips, bend our knees, and lift and lower the hips a few times. That will help get the blood moving, the legs, the feeling back in there. And we'll just take a very short time, dragonfly. So we'll open legs apart, open our hips up a bit. As wide as is comfortable for you. And come forward. You can have a pillow or under the arms if you want. Relax forward here for a moment, maybe a minute or two. Okay, go ahead and start to come up from there. And we'll bring ourselves onto our belly. And we'll start with the infant pose. So if you want to have a pillow or folded up blanket, we'll bring our arms alongside the body and just lift the chest and head up, roll the shoulders back and reach for the feet. So we can engage all of our back muscles for a bit. After all of that forward folding, pull the shoulder blades together. And then we'll bring our elbows under the shoulders into Sphinx pose. So you'll let your pelvis rock a little bit side to side. You want to let it relax. Go. Might like to lift our chin and get a little stretch in the front of the neck and a little compression in the back of the neck for a bit as a counter pose to the forward folding. And here we get into the kidney channel, and the kidneys especially little gentle back bend. Kidneys, together with the urinary bladder channel, are about strength. It's our will, right? Our strength and our will are actually under the domain of the kidney and the urinary bladder. And we're in the year 8 year, which is about strength. So foster our strength and our courage this year. If you want to lift your feet, you can also add more stretch to the front of the legs and hips, compression to the low back. There's also a wonderful pose for bone building, the low back. We help prevent bone loss, strengthening that area, pressing it. Let's just take a short break in half frog. So if you want to slide your left leg up toward your shoulder and rest your head on your hands, looking to that side for a moment. You can bring your leg higher if you want, or you can just kind of position it a little farther away and open the hip a little more. Foot a little farther away. Just whatever feels good to your hip. Then we'll slide that left leg back down, come back into Sphinx or Seal. So if you want to do Seal, you can just widen the arms a bit, and spread the fingers apart, and straighten the arms. You can also put a pillow underneath the pelvis for support, like. or just stay in Sphinx. Come in and out of any of the variations as it feels right to your body. Go through them any way that feels good today. And if your hands are, of course, closer toward your body, you'll increase the compression on the low back. Bring your hands farther away from your torso, body, and decrease that compression. Seal is very strengthening for our shoulders as well, and the arms. So it's a pretty yang, yang type of yin pose. Really, there's more yang in this pose. We have to check in with our breath and make sure that we're breathing evenly and fully without struggle. So if you happen to be up in seal, you might want to start to come back down gradually. Sphinx. And we'll bring ourselves into half frog on the other side for a bit. So you can slide the right leg up and look to the right. Rest your head. And always, if you need to bring your arm alongside your body, if it's easier on the shoulder. And then we can slide that leg down and start to make our way up onto our all fours, to our hands and knees. And just move the spine gently between a cat and a cow. So just rounding the low back, rounding the back. You might like to press your hips back towards your feet a bit. And come into an arch. Just Gently moving the spine, slowly rebalance our spine here. Just circle our hips a few times as well. Just let our bodies do a little spiraling. The spine go in circular motion, and then the other direction. Really good for our hips and our spine, this circling everything. And then we can sit back into a child's pose for a bit if you're able to. Another option would be just come on to your back and do a happy baby pose. If this doesn't work for you, might like to open the knees apart. That's comfortable. Even bring the feet a little apart, going more into a tadpole. We'll come out of our child's pose and around onto our back. Start by hugging your knees and relaxing your body. Blanket. Have to have a blanket, it's still cold out. And just relax your body, rock around. You might stir your legs if you like, and just holding one knee in each hand, letting the legs relax in the hip socket. Hips. And then we'll bring our left foot on the ground and curl up and grab hold of your right foot with your knee bent. So if you can, grab hold of it with your hand on the outside. You might use both hands. Just pull that knee down towards your armpit and slide your left leg down the mat. So like we're lunging on our back or doing a happy baby. And just pulling that knee kind of down toward the ground as we stretch our left leg out. Feeling that stretch inside of the inner thigh and down the front of our left hip. course, you can always use a strap. We won't be here for very long, but you can always use a strap around your foot as well instead of the hands if that's easier. And then we're going to guide our right leg across the body. So if you want to have bolstering over there, to the side, to the left, and we'll come into a twist. So just bringing your leg across and the right arm out from the right shoulder. With that arm maybe a little bit bent and a little bit up. So get a nice stretch through the front of the shoulder and arm. Just making sure our right leg is supported. And if you want, you can also bend your left leg and bring your left foot towards your hip, which will create a little stretch in the top of the thigh and across the knee. Allowing your head to orient in whatever way feels comfortable. You might look towards your left leg, or you might look towards your right arm, or just up to the ceiling. As always, in a twist, especially when we're lying down, we want to make sure our breath stays full and even. As it works its way through our internal organs, all around the organs. We can just use our right hand to Bring our right leg back up and come onto our back. You might bring bolstering over to the other side if you have it. Hug the knees in. We can put our right foot on the ground and lift that left foot, curl up, and grab hold of your foot. Or like I mentioned, if you want to use a strap, feel free to do that. And we'll slide our right leg long, coming into a supine dragon or half happy baby side. And just gently pulling that knee down toward the armpit, toward the ground. We want to make sure we don't pull our body off center when we do that. Stay centered on our back. And then we can just guide this left leg across. You need to adjust your hips. Feel free to do that and bring that leg across. Make sure it's supported somehow. The hand with the bolster. Extending the left arm out, maybe a little bent and a little bit up. And also, if you like, you can bend the right leg, bring that right foot towards your hip more. Get a stretch the top part of that thigh and knee. If our that left knee is higher up, of course, we bring the twist more into the upper part of our spine. And we bring the knee lower down, brings the twist more into the lumbar. Twists are a really great pose to do at the end of the practice. Especially these supine twists, we kind of reset our nervous system and bring our spine back into balance, healthy balance. and just overall relaxing for the body. And twists are also really good to strengthen our immune system. So we keep our immune system healthy as well from catching any little bugs that might be floating around. So you might like to continue in your twist a little longer, or coming out slowly, whatever feels right for you. And when you do come out, you can just do any movement that feels good to your body, hugging your knees or rocking or curling into a ball. Stretch for the back. And then coming into a comfortable position on your back and taking a moment to integrate. Go ahead and just relax and have your legs bent, legs straight. Just whatever feels good to you, so you can let go and breathe. Taking nice full breaths here as we circulate the chi throughout the channels, throughout the meridians, all through our body. Notice how you feel, and just notice how your breath is. Notice how your mind is. And here's a little quote from Mark and Angel Chernoff. No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future, but any amount of gratitude changes the present. Profound words. So giving gratitude to our body for being there for us, and to our breath for being there for us, to our mind for being there for us, to the earth, to the mother, anything else that we want to offer gratitude toward. Feel free to continue lying down or to get up slowly. And I thank you for joining me today. Sure.